Hello and welcome to the Ottawa Herald's 2012 General Election Candidate Interviews. I'm Crystal Herber with the Herald, here with Ed Taylor, Republican incumbent for the 2nd District, Franklin County Board of Commissioners seat. Hello, Ed.
Hi, Crystal. I guess first I'd just like to thank you. I think it's really neat that the Herald did the interviews in the primary and then now also. I think it's very good.
Well, thank you for being part of it. Let's get started.
Okay.
How do you feel about winning the Republican primary?
Oh, I'm very happy to win the primary. You know, I've had 12, this is my 4th time to go around in the elections. And you never know how they're going to go. You never know how people are going to vote. One thing I have learned, it really doesn't matter how many signs you put out, or it's the people are going to vote for the candidate of their choice. I don't think the signs have a big influence on people.
Okay. Now, have you been challenged both in the primary and the general election in previous races?
I don't. I'd have to really think back. I don't remember having challengers in both. I've had challengers in the primary and in the general, but I don't remember it being the same year.
Okay. Do you feel like this year was more tense because of the added competition?
Well, I think it puts greater, maybe a little extra effort forward. You know, in the past, I think I'm almost certain of I never had to be challenged but one time. So, this year there's a little more to that.
Okay. Both your Republican and Democratic challengers were running on platforms of change for the board, citing that you've been on there for too long. What is your response to that?
I would disagree with that. I think the length of term has made me more valuable to the board. I think the 12 years experience that I have is an asset, not a negative. I think it'll take most anybody 1 to 2 years to get used to what you're doing. So many of the things that we do, we might only do once a year. So it's not something that comes up real often. And it takes a couple of year cycle before most people get really acclimated to the board. So I see years of experience as being a positive rather than a negative.
Okay. And continuing on with those advantages of being on there for 12 years, what are some more specific advantages you see?
Well, I'm going to just speak now to the challenger now, Rick Howard. And Rick Howard and I are very good friends. In fact, we sat side by side last night and talked while we were at a city council meeting down at Richmond. Known Rick for a lot of years. I think he'd make a good county commissioner. But I think the background, my education, I have a degree in civil technology. I owned and operated, I worked for a heavy industrial contractor for about 14 years. Then I owned and operated Taylor Surveying for 14 years. I think all this, plus the 12 years that I've served on the commission, just makes me a better candidate for the board. I think that I've got more work history and experience than anybody coming on. So I think that's a positive.
Okay. What are some of the main concerns of the constituents in your district?
I think roads are always a concern. Overall, I feel that our roads are better right now than they've ever been. This year has been an extremely dry year. We need some rain to be able to grade them better. We've got some major projects coming up next in the fall, I believe, of 2013. I think you probably know we got a grant to replace the West Wilson Street Bridge, and I think that'll be a project that will get started in 2014, I believe. We've completed the juvenile detention center. The biggest concerns that I see people having is just over roads.
And is that one of the main concerns for the people in the rural areas?
Yeah, primarily rural. People in the cities are not affected by the county roads, gravel roads. And we've paved a lot of roads over the 12 years that I've been in. We probably paved more roads in that period of time than in 50, 60 years prior. We did the 36-mile project, and then we turned around a few years later, and we did a 12 or 13 mile project.
Okay. What strategies would you employ if reelected to continue with the county's economic development?
I think one of the biggest things that we can do is to try to support the FCDC. I still want to say OFCED, but it's FCDC. I think the city of Ottawa and Franklin County are jointly two of the largest partners that support this organization. I think supporting this organization, everything points out that we need some shovel-ready land. We need places that developers can come. The utilities are there. They're ready to go. We don't have this. We have missed a couple of opportunities in the past. I think that the direction that the FCDC is headed right now is very good. I think that they're very proactive. Blaine Finch in his interim directorship did an excellent job, and I think David Lee will continue that. They're working on some engineering studies that is going to pinpoint out and give some actual numbers as to what it will cost to develop some of the land, and that has a big effect on the sale of it.
Okay. The budget process this past year involved a slight increase in the mill levy, which you voted in favor of. In such tight economic times, do you feel that even a slight increase in taxes sends the wrong message to residents?
I don't think that slight increase there on a home, say probably $100,000 home, wouldn't make a hamburger. We feel like it was virtually level. I mean, it might have been up to 0.025. 0.02 is very negligible.
So you feel like that increase was...
I think that we gave the instructions to Lisa Johnson, the administrator, that we wanted to try to be break even. With some manipulation of numbers, we could have eliminated a thing or two here and got it to exactly zero, but we didn't feel that the 0.025 was a noticeable increase.
Were you overall happy with the budget process and how it went?
Very happy. The budget process each year seems to get a little bit easier. Lisa does a tremendous job working with department heads and outside agencies, laying the groundwork, and it's gone very smoothly.
What have you done on the board to help keep taxes down?
I don't know that anything specifically that I can say personally that I've done. I think we as a board as a whole have tried to be prudent in our spending and be cognizant of the dollars that we spend, the tax dollars. But I don't know that I can say personally that anything I can attribute to that. I think it's a collective effort to try to be aware of what we're spending and try to keep taxes down.
In what areas do you feel could stand for an increase in funding, and then which areas could stand for a decrease in funding?
I would hope that we would find a way that we could increase our funding for economic development, because I think that economic development is one thing that will pay us bigger dividends or bigger bang for our buck, if you want to call it, in getting potential clients to locate here. If we can entice large companies to come in here, commercial and industrial people, that in turn will lower the tax burden on the average taxpayer. A Walmart, an American Eagle, a Shelf Steel, someone like that pays so much more taxes and dividends than a lot of houses. One house, 10 houses, that doesn't really affect your budget that much. It doesn't bring in that much money.
Okay. Is there a place that you feel could maybe decrease in funding? Right now, I don't think I know of any that we would decrease. We've held some level in the past. We trimmed a couple of years ago, budgets back, we decreased a few, but we've pretty much held level this year. I don't remember anybody that we decreased. Okay. So So would you say you consider yourself a fiscally conservative candidate?
Yes, I would.
Okay. One of the chief concerns of your competition is that you are not concerned with the residents in the rural areas. How would you respond to that?
I live in a rural area. I think I'm very, I get probably calls every week. I feel that I am responsive to their needs. If someone calls me, I'd usually within 24 hours will drive out and take a look at the problem that they mentioned. No, I go to the Williamsburg City Council. I go to the Richmond City Council meetings to be a kind of like act like a conduit between their council and the county commission. So I feel that I might not go to the coffee shops and drink coffee with everybody and talk, but I feel that I am responsive to their needs.
Okay. As a board member, what is your policy as far as county departments being investigated by outside agencies like the KBI or the Attorney General's office?
Personally, I would think that that's the best idea. I don't know any more about this investigation than you or anybody else that's read the Herald. Lisa just informed us that there was an investigation, gave us what information she could. I think for the perception of open and honesty and transparency, it's best to have an outside agency do it. As the board, are you allowed to be involved in that investigation because it's a county department? No, we're not involved in it. I'm assuming that we will be made aware of whatever transpires or the findings are, but technically the sheriff actually doesn't. He's an elected official just like we are, so he doesn't answer to us per se, but he answers virtually to the people. I think it's best to be investigated by an outside agency.
And also looking back on the investigation from the Attorney General's office that happened recently in the past, what impact do these investigations have on county government? Do they serve as a distraction at all, or how do you feel about them?
I don't see this investigation of the sheriff, because we don't even really know what it's about, but I don't see it being as a distraction other than people maybe questioning what it is about, because no one knows.
Yeah.
But I don't think it interferes with business. I think that day-to-day operations continue on.
Moving on to a question about your competitor, what would you say sets you apart from your competitor?
I think Rick and I are very similar in a lot of aspects, but I think we're both well known around the district, around the area. Rick worked a long time for the city of Ottawa. I think simply the thing that sets me apart would be primarily the 12 years that I've been on this board and been a chairman 6 times. I think that's the biggest things.
Okay. After winning more than 60% of the primary votes, what do you feel your chances are in the general election?
I think it's like a horse race. You don't ever know. That's why I said earlier that signs I don't think really matter. I know there's a lot of signs right now that around town got both of our signs in the same yard, so I don't know what that says. I would say you'd have to ask me that on the 7th, because I don't have any idea what people are going to do. I don't feel that. I feel like both of us have a very good chance to win. It's just whatever people get out and vote. I think a lot will depend on the turnout, what people get out. I think our cycle has always been with the presidential, so we usually get a higher turnout, so I think that's good.
Yeah. If you are reelected, are there any changes you're planning to make, or just kind of keep going with how?
No, I think right now, Crystal, I believe everything's running, pretty well. Very satisfied with the way government has come. One of my goals early on, but even before I got on the commission, was to go to an administrative form of government, and we've done that. We had a rocky start in it for the first 2 administrators, but Lisa Johnson has proven what the position can do. We've got some major changes coming up on the commission. county clerk's positions change over. I think things are looking up for Franklin County. I think it'll be an exciting time to be on the commission, but I don't anticipate any major changes.
Okay. And one last question. If you're not reelected, do you have anything planned?
Haven't thought of anything different. My wife and I travel some time to time. I don't know if that might increase or be about the same, but no, I haven't even given that really a thought.
All right.
A little too far off yet.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
Again, I'm Crystal with the Herald, here with Ed Taylor, Republican candidate for the District 2 Franklin County Board of Commissioners seat. Thank you.
Thank you.